This is Audible.
Blackstone presents Vow to Protect, a dark Mafia arranged marriage romance by J.L. Beck and Monica Corwin. This book is read by Megan Kelly and Aaron Shedlock. At First Sight. Extended Prologue. 1. Valentina. I know I should be more excited to attend my first party. Between dressing up and the fact that my fiancé Sal agreed to let my cousin and best friend Rose come along too, it's set to be a fantastic night. Rose isn't really interested in the party, but I fear leaving her alone in the house with my father or my fiancé, so I bring her as my +1. They can be ruthless and sinister. Plus, I'm stronger than her. It's my duty to protect the only family I have left in this house. I peer at my reflection in the mirror. The dress Rose chose for me hugs my curves, which only began filling out a few years ago. Not that there's much yet. I still feel like my small petite shape resembles an ironing board compared to Rose's curves and statuesque figure. The champagne silk gown barely brushes the floor, Rose having hemmed it by hand all morning for me. It makes my pale skin shine in the mirror and sets off her own black cap sleeve number. We both look great, and I hug her to my side as she presses the last pin, taming the unruly mass of brown known as my hair. "Let's try to have some fun, okay?" I whisper. She nods, meeting my eyes in the mirror. "Let's set a goal to make one sexy man trip over his feet tonight." "Sal doesn't count." I snicker. "Ugh, Sal isn't sexy. I know you're being conscripted to spend the rest of your life with him, but hopefully once you get married, he'll find a mistress to deal with his bullshit and leave you alone." I snort. "A new goal, then. Find a mistress for my future husband at this party. Someone we think he could go for after we get married." It was a nice lie, but what are dreams? Nice lies to get you through the day, right? We give each other one long conspiring look in the mirror and head downstairs for inspection by my father and Sal. We descend to the foyer. Rose remains at my back, one step behind, not because she's inferior, but because she's my support, my rock. The only thing keeping me from going apeshit most days. My father steps out of his study, Sal follows, and they circle us like wolves. Once they finish scrutinizing us, my father sniffs, shakes his head, and points at the stairs.
"Go back up to your room and change. You look like a cheap whore. I can see every inch of your body. You're supposed to be a respectful woman and set an example."
An example of what? What happens to women in this world when they can't stand on their own 2 feet? I know better than to question him, though I can't help but look down at the beautiful shimmering silk and frown at its loss. Instead of telling him off, I do the smart thing and say, "Yes, sir." Then I grab Rose's arm and haul her back up the stairs with me.
"Switch with your cousin,"
my father's hard voice calls after us.
"At least she looks like a proper young lady."
I wince, but continue walking, dragging Rose with me back to my bedroom. "I hate those motherfuckers," she growls, throwing herself on the bed. I let out a half-hearted protest about her hair, but she turns her face to glare at me. "Do I look like I give a shit about my hair?" I frown, looking down at the dress. "Let's just change, and then we can go. I'm sorry you worked so hard on my dress, and now I can't even wear it." Rose sits up, twisting gracefully, and weaves me away. "It doesn't matter. You're right. Let's change, and then we can get to drinking." We swap dresses, and I have to help ease the zipper of mine up the side of her waist. It barely fits, and the length is a foot too short. I feel bad, but I'm not sure what else to do. I won't return to my father without this dress on. "Do you want to put on something else?" She shakes her head. We're already pushing it for time, and I'd expect if I went down in something else, then they'd order me right back up here out of spite. Or worse, make you go alone. I hug her one more time and adjust her hair a little where a few stray pieces have fallen down her slim neck. She meets my eyes, stilling my face in her hands. If there is any way to get you out of this marriage, I'm going to find it. You deserve so much better than that asshole. I nod, ducking my chin so she doesn't see the sheen of tears building in my eyes. I know, but it's what Father wants, and you know I have to keep him happy. Not if we leave. How about at the party tonight, you and I just slip out the side door into the darkness? They'll never see us again. I have a little money saved, and you can sell some of your jewelry. We can get jobs and live a normal existence. As wonderful as her dream sounds for us, I know it's useless to imagine. You know if we did that, he would never stop looking for me. Both Sal and my father would hunt me down and drag me home. And then once they found me, they would kill me. Rose sucks a ragged breath into her lungs and lifts my chin with her finger. Don't say that. You don't think my father has been looking for a way to punish me all my life? Everything he does is to punish me for my mother's death. Everything. Sal is just another in a long list of things that suck about my life. I'm used to it by now. I pause, refusing to let myself get worked up over something that will never change. We should go. Rose looks like she wants to say more, but doesn't. I'll find a way, okay? Don't give up. She wants to say more every time Sal says something hurtful, or worse, when he hits me to get his way. My father put my virginity up as a shield, but it doesn't protect me from Sal's fists. I paste on a fake smile my father and Sal will expect to see me wearing and head toward the door. Let's go before one of them comes up here after us. Again, she trails me, and when we hit the foyer, it's only Sal in his tuxedo waiting for us. His black curls are slicked back, and he's altogether too oily and smooth. He always has been. I hated him the moment I laid eyes on him. He's a snake in the grass, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. He holds out his elbow for me to take, and I wrap my arm around it. If I didn't, he'd drag me into him and make me pay for embarrassing him in front of Rose. It's a lesson I've learned many times from the palm of his hand. The limo is waiting outside the house, and Sal opens the door for us. Rose climbs in first, and then he steps in front of me, slipping in so that he's stuck sitting between us. I wish I were the kind of person who had the balls to drag him out by his ear. Instead, all I manage is envisioning the squeak he'd make if I did it. I buckle my seatbelt, and the limo pulls away. Sal's cologne wafts off him in nauseating waves, but I don't dare roll down the window for air. He sees everything, and no matter what I do, it's all an insult to him. Every breath I take is an insult to him.
I'm glad your father suggested you change. You look much more proper now, although I do like the silk on you. Maybe you can put it back on for me later,
he whispers. I keep the disgust hidden from my tone. If Father says it's all right. I'm worthless in my father's mind, so you won't have me called a whore as well. In front of his friends, I'm the perfect doting daughter. There's no way for him to explain away rumors of my sleeping around to them, so he's forbidden Sal from touching me that way. I'll take it, because the thought of him touching me intimately makes me want to scream. He stiffens and leans away, taking the cloying scent with him. My father's one rule was no touching sexually before the wedding, and no matter how many times Sal has tried to coax me into breaking the edict, I don't. Not when it is the only life raft my father has ever provided. Since I rebuffed him, Sal runs his hand up my thigh, squeezing so hard over the material I'll have a bruise. Unable to stop myself, I grab his hand and look him in the eyes. He probably wouldn't like where that hand is either.
Don't be such a little virgin,
he hisses. My virginity is the only thing keeping me safe from him, so I'll use it for a shield as long as I can. I know nothing about sex, and if the porn or the pictures Sal forces me to look at when my father is away are similar, I don't want anything to do with it. Even more so if he's with me. Rose lets out a soft squeak across the car, and I glance over. Sal has his arms slung around her shoulders, and his lips are on her neck. Her eyes are blown wide and scared as she meets mine across the car. Despite her terror, though, her chin is tilted up, and she's trying to tell me she can take this. Take this for me. But God, I don't want her to. Not when she shouldn't have to. I grip his hand and return it to my upper thigh, drawing his attention back to me. When he turns to face me again, something tight breaks open in my chest, and I can breathe.
First you don't want me, and now you think I'm ignoring you, Valentina. Make up your mind, babe.
I hate the way he says my name. The way he calls me babe, as though it's affectionate. Every time I hear it, I want to throw up. But I can't, not with Rose in his clutches. Sorry we spent all this time getting ready. Don't you think I look nice? He lets his arm fall away from Rose and faces me fully. I almost sigh with relief.
You know you're beautiful. It's the only thing you've got going for you. That, and your sweet honeypot I'm going to claim when we get married.
I barely stifle the gag which surges from my empty belly. Rose and I skipped dinner with my father and Sal, complaining we had too much to do to be ready for the party. Well, if I do vomit on him, then there won't be much of a mess. Thank you for the compliment, I manage after a moment. Thankfully, he doesn't notice my hesitation in answering.
Our kids are going to be so hot,
he says. Another gag wells up inside me, and I have to turn my eyes away before he sees the disgust there. I know what kind of businesses he runs for his family, and the little side projects in human trafficking that keep him flush with cash. Every Friday when my father goes to his meetings, Sal shows me videos, clips of his men touching. Bile rises in my throat as I cut off the thought. I have to press the back of my hand to my mouth to ensure nothing comes up. It was bad enough when I thought he only dealt in grown women. My hands are shaking, and I wrap them around my waist. His eyes narrow, but as he opens his mouth, the car jerks to a halt outside a high-rise building. For a second, he stares out the window and then nods.
We're here. Get the fuck out so we can make our entrance together.
Gladly, I shove the door open and take a deep breath of the clean night air, until he curls a proprietary arm around my waist and leads me toward the building. Rose trails us. We lock eyes for a second, her asking if I'm okay while I do the same with her. We both nod and focus on the mission. Have a tiny bit of fun without riling Sal too much. The foyer of the building is lovely, decorated in creams and maroon with a sparkling crystal chandelier hanging in front of a bank of elevators. Inside the elevator, a man in a uniform nods and presses the button I assume is for the party. Sal's arm locks around me tighter the higher we climb.
Don't embarrass me tonight,
he says, his eyes on the number panel as we ascend.
Either of you, or I'll make you regret it.
Rose and I once again lock eyes behind his back in a moment of solidarity. We can do this. The elevator opens to a beautiful glittering crowd milling about a grand foyer. The white marble floor has matching marble columns that line the edge of the circular space. We squeeze past couples until we spot the open doorway to a large ballroom. Inside, tables skirt a small dance floor as servers carrying tinkling trays of champagne flutes weave through the throng. Sal releases me and smooths his hair back.
Find a table and wait for me. If I see you talking to another man, I'll kill him.
2. Adrian. The only thing I hate more than parties are parties where everyone is considering the best way to kill me. I can almost see the yearn to maim and dismember in their eyes as they pass me with little dips of their chin. Every single one of us is a liar, and the party to open up the season makes us all 100 times worse. This year, it's my turn to host the opening gala, as if sparkle and glam could negate the blood that would hit the streets in short order, likely before the first guests leave for the evening. The heavy weight of a palm clamping my shoulder makes me tense up until Kai, my second, comes around into my field of vision. Ready for this, old man? I wince. Cut out the old man shit. I'm only a few years older than you. He grins, all gleaming white teeth. But about 10 years older than all the little girls these mommies and daddies are throwing at you. I hear whispers. They want to find you a queen. And not a single one of them will know I'm looking for one myself. Otherwise, I'm vulnerable to both praying mothers and scheming fathers on all sides. Until I secure a bride, my father's empire won't officially be mine in the eyes of these people. Keep your eyes and ears open, Kai. I have a bad feeling about tonight. His hand tightens on my shoulder. You have a bad feeling about every party we go to, boss. He isn't wrong. A pretty little blonde makes eyes at Kai from across the room. Then when her gaze slides to mine, she loses her nerve. Someone wants you, I point out to him. Who doesn't? He parries. I shrug him off my shoulder. Don't get distracted. You and the men need to stay alert. He gives me a wink and saunters toward the blonde. Despite his nonchalance, I know he won't let his guard down. His ease has always been an act he uses to play a role, so they don't realize what he really is until it's too late. My other 5 closest soldiers, 6, counting Kai, have spread out throughout the room to listen, watch, and guard my back. But it will take a lot more than their presence to put me at ease here. At least this year, I decided to host it on neutral ground. The Holland Hotel, owned and operated by an anonymous, unaligned individual, is the site for all inter-territory meetings. So it makes sense they would host the gala too. And this year, I won't find someone trying to sneak their way past security or hack my computer networks. As I watch each person walk past me, I can't help but see the lies spewing from their mouths. Each syllable spoken in sweet smiles, all greasy with every untruth, turns my stomach. If I'm going to kill someone, I have the decency to at least tell them outright. The neck of my perfectly tailored tux feels too tight, like a noose around my neck. Scowl any harder and people will start running for their weapons. A sweet voice says as she approaches. My 5th wears red satin tonight. Cut so low that I would be about to see her belly button with another inch. Another weapon my soldiers employ effortlessly. Their beauty. Andrea? I scan the crowd. Where's your twin? She rolls her neck, her black hair sliding over the bare curve of her shoulder. Oh, he's around here somewhere, probably getting himself into trouble. Shouldn't you be joining him? I say, keeping my gaze on the slow amble of the people around me. I half wish someone would start something so I could get the hell out of here. I will soon enough. See anyone I should keep my eye on? Her focus returns to the crowd as well now. I shake my head. Not yet. I'll let you know if I see something. Go play, and be nice. She saunters back into the fray, and I snag a passing glass of champagne. I don't usually drink because I feel out of control when I have too much, and no one can see me like that. But Andrea is right. If I continue scowling from the fringes of the ballroom, it won't help me find the woman I need to turn into my wife. But I'm not the only one who's counting the seconds until it's socially acceptable to leave. A young woman in black with a mass of barely restrained curls stands near a table with someone else I don't recognize. Which is impossible since I know every member of our little twisted society. Then I catch sight of Sal squeezing through the crowd, not even bothering to be sly at the way he ogles the women he passes. When he reaches the table, the girl in black stiffens and shifts away from him, but then allows the fucking dickhole to drag her by the arm to his side again. And he isn't gentle about it either. I'm 3 seconds from grabbing his threadbare tux and allowing Andrea to escort him out. She loves nothing more than showing a man like him what she thinks of his kind. So he succeeded in buying himself a family name, and by the size of the rock on Rachel Royal? No, I can't remember her name. Her daddy had to buy it for her fiancé to propose. Sal and her father, Victor, have been in business together a long time. When word started to spread about his engagement to Novak's daughter, I thought they were sampling their own product. Now, seeing the way he handles her as though he owns her, I believe it. And I want to fucking kill him for the way he's touching her. For the sadness I see that isn't quite masked by her bright smile. My stomach roils, and I shift my focus away before I do something stupid. She isn't mine, and interfering will only cause trouble. Seeing that look in her eyes, the same look my mother used to wear, unnerves me in a way I haven't been in a long time. My mother was the only truly good female I've ever known. Even Andrea, one of my closest friends, is a bitch on a good day. I realize I'm staring at her again. The black dress looks a little loose on her petite frame, and she's young. She's so fucking young, someone probably should have carted her at the door. Too young to have the weight of the world written in her gaze. The urge to find out what color her eyes are overtakes me, and I slowly shift around the ballroom, smoothly avoiding people trying to capture my attention. When I finally make it to the right angle, the lighting is too dark for me to tell. But staring at her straight on with Sal's hand inching toward her ass, I can clearly see how much she hates him. A puzzle, then. Why would one of the society's pampered princesses marry her daddy's business partner if she didn't like him? She, like me, should have her choice of suitors. Her hair is a thing of beauty, piled up on her head in a mass of natural curls. A flash of what all that black silk would look like spread over my white sheet starts a craving I won't be able to quench. No, she doesn't belong to me. I try to shake off the longing, the stark desire that shoves its way between my ribs and nestles in deep. It doesn't budge, especially when she delicately lifts her champagne glass, and I watch her pretty pink lips cup the rim. Instantly, I see her on her knees, that dress pulled around her slim waist, her curls tangled between my fingers as she takes my dick down her throat. It's an obscene fantasy, especially because she looks like she's never even been kissed properly. A likely scenario, given her fiancé. Fuck. I can't stay here staring at her all night. Someone is bound to notice, and it will paint a target on her back. I tear my eyes away and duck through the crowd, intent on putting some distance between us. If she came closer to me and I caught her delicate scent, I'd lose my fucking mind and start a war I'm not prepared to win yet. Because when I go into battle, nothing will be left standing but me and my 5. She'd be collateral damage. Damage her father likely would consider insignificant if he cares so little of her to give her away to that asshole. The balcony calls my name. It's empty, and I spot Ivan, my second lieutenant, taking up position on the other side of the doors. The privacy after being stuck in a crowded ballroom for an hour is a welcome relief. The traffic sounds from below barely reach this high, so it's nothing but the cold cut of the wind, which I appreciate after the stifling heat inside. I allow myself a moment to wonder who might have followed me out here and attempted to toss me over the edge if Ivan hadn't been tailing me. My father had many enemies, and now I seem to have inherited them. People I barely know hate me for my father's actions. If they only knew what having me for a real enemy would be like. But this party opens the season, and for the next 3 months, every single person here must watch their back. The season opening signals movement in society. Movement bought with blood, criminal activity, and good old-fashioned murder. Then, anything goes until the final party of the season. Afterward, a mandatory 9 months of peace allows the new fault lines to be drawn. Anyone who violates it meets justice at the hand of every ruling family. No one has ever survived the gauntlet. My own father certainly didn't. Thankfully, once they took his life, his sins washed down the drain with his blood. It didn't matter that he'd become too old to even understand his actions in the end. They showed him no mercy. And soon, they will learn what my mercy looks like. Almost involuntarily, I turn back to the doors and peer around Ivan's shoulder through the glass. She's still standing beside Sal, who is getting drunker by the minute. The other girl with her has the hard cut of fear in her eyes as she watches Sal and his fiancée. I don't know why that fear eats at something inside me, but it blooms my own batch of fear for the innocent on Sal's arm. I open the doors and step back in, letting the last of the night air cool my back before closing the door again. Ivan melts back into the crowd, and I watch her. I want to know what her voice sounds like, what color her eyes are. I want to know what kind of words she uses when she begs. Most of all, I want Sal's blood pooling across the concrete so he won't ever touch her again. I shove past a few society members, intent on reaching their table to introduce myself, but someone catches my arm. I spin with a curse and glare down into the eyes of Madeline Cerny, heiress to the biggest blow empire in the country. And by the way she wobbles in her $2,000 shoes, she's been sampling her product. I try to keep my tone even as I address her. "Can I help you, Maddie?" She bats her eyelashes, or I think she does. It's more like a wink gone wrong, but I remain the gentleman. She, however, has lost her damn mind. I realize this when she reaches out and grabs my cock, as if she has permission to touch me, as if she even has permission to speak to me. I don't get the pleasure of ripping her claw-tipped fingers off before Alexi, Andrea's twin, is there, leading her away. With disgust, I stare after them. Then I remember my mission before she mauled me. I spin to find the flower amongst the weeds, but she has disappeared.
3. Valentina. If this is what the rest of my life looks like, I don't want it. Every person at this party is either drunk, high, or both. And not in the glamorous, I'm rich so I can do anything I want sort of way. They are all sloppy and mean, and I'm about to lose my shit if Sal touches me one more time. Rose meets my eyes for a moment, conveying her own distress that Sal has barely left us alone for a second. We'd hoped to be drinking and watching the people we'd never gotten to meet. But we can barely even speak with Sal breathing down the neckline of my dress as if he'd dropped his keys in there. A part of me wishes my father had come tonight. He gave his excuses, saying Sal was within his rights to come in his stead since he would soon be his son-in-law. If he were here, he would witness Sal's clear disregard for the sexual contact rule and maybe, for once, do something to help me. Maybe he'd pretend I'm his daughter and not his burden. Since Rose is only related by marriage, he does consider her a burden. Her mother, my mother's sister, died along with my mom, and we've been inseparable ever since. I suspect my father knows that if he throws Rose out, there is nowhere in the world I won't go to find her, to protect her. She may be my cousin by blood, but she's my sister in every way that matters. The thoughts of my father showing any kind of support for me are nothing more than a silly fantasy I nurtured as a child. My mother died before I reached the tween years, and after that, well, the darkness that clung to my father before became all-consuming. My mother's light tempered him. Without her, he has no conscience, no soul. And since it's my fault my mother is gone, I have to try to be that for him, even when it earns me bruises more often than patience. Sal laughs at something one of his greasy friends says. The same friend who latched onto Rose the second he joined our table. I need to find a way to rescue us both, get us home before Sal gets too drunk to remember he cedes to my father until we marry. I gently peel Sal's hand from my waist and give him a smile. I'll be right back, just going to powder my nose. Rose takes the hint and squeezes away from the handsy guy whose name I don't bother to remember. We link our arms and press into the crowd before Sal can think to call us back. The bathroom is likely the only safe place for us right now. We make a beeline across the marble foyer and past the elevators to the little alcove that indicates the restrooms. The facilities are just as lovely as the ballroom. I'm impressed by the velvet sitting room and the crystal chandeliers in front of each solid wood door leading to the toilets. I don't actually need to go, but Rose does and rushes into one of the little rooms while I take a seat on the dove gray settee. My feet are already aching from these shoes, and I feel like Sal's hand has made a permanent mark on the curve of my waist, like the ghost of a pool's water after a long day of swimming. I wait for Rose, but catch the sound of raised voices outside the door to the ladies' room. Worrying it's Sal about to embarrass me, I rush out of the room to intercept him before he can storm in to find me. But it's not Sal standing in the foyer. It's an impossibly tall man in a very expensive black-on-black tuxedo, and he looks pissed. He's watching a man and a woman in red lead another woman to a stairwell, but it appears the other woman doesn't want to go. I'm about to say something, but when I focus on the other man again, he's moved several feet closer to me, like only a few inches separate us. I catch the notes of his cologne, something smoky, maybe with a hint of ginger. He smells good, like really good. I swallow and duck my chin, about to try to make a graceful exit, but he gently lifts my gaze to his with his index finger under my chin.
What's your name?
I swallow so I don't squeak when I answer him. With his eyes locked on mine, I can't even think straight. He towers over me, taking up the space both around him and around me. But unlike Sal, it feels like he owns that space, and I'm the interloper. Valentina Novak, I offer. He doesn't say his name, only studies my face, his finger our only point of contact. I want to tuck my cheek so I can press my nose to his pulse point and get a good whiff of him. Like a damn serial killer.
What is this look on your face for, Val?
Val. I blink. No one has ever called me anything other than Valentina or Miss Novak. Well, except Sal, but his names are curses and don't count. You smell good. His forehead bunches up as he watches me. His dark hair is styled with a soft wave. It even looks like it would be soft to run my fingers through. Sal favors gel that turns his hair into a helmet. Not that I would want to touch it. This man, though, there are a lot of things I want to do, and I don't understand why. We don't know each other, and while he is very beautiful, he must be 15 years older than me. Apparently, I have a thing for older men now. He's still silent, and I let him hold my chin, even though it's a dangerous game with Sal likely about to discover us at any moment.
Did you just say I smell good?
He asked. His deep and smoky voice has a hint of incredulity that is sweet, exactly like his scent. What did you want me to do? Lie?
Most would. Many here would make something up or deliver a stinging remark meant to gain the upper hand.
I shake my head, and it dislodges my chin from his grasp. He drops his arm slowly, as if he's reluctant to stop touching me. No, I've had enough malice in my life. I refuse to give it back to others. Are you all right? I saw those people dragging someone away. Did she try to hurt you? His frown deepens, and he gently shakes his head.
Not hurt me, no. She only succeeded in embarrassing herself in front of a room full of people. However, I can't let the insult pass. She was removed, and that will be enough unless she tries again.
I shrug and smile. Seems fair. I'd want to throw a woman out if she grabbed my genitals, too. A short laugh bursts out of him, and his smile. Good Lord, that smile is like staring directly into the sun. There are dimples, his 5 o'clock shadow, the straight white edge of his teeth, and those full lips. Can't forget those.
You saw that, did you?
I give him a smile back, a real one that I could feel on my forehead. Of course. I just didn't realize who she was until I thought about it some more. The click of heels from the bathroom brought Rose in line with my back. I glance at her over my shoulder, but her face is taken on a pallor I only see when Sal is drunk and forward with her. Valentina, Rose whispers, we should get back. Her eyes are locked on the man, who is significantly more rigid and forbidding now that someone else is with us. Dipping down, he captures my hand, brushes his soft lips over my knuckles, and releases me. It takes less than a second, yet I'll be replaying it in my mind for the next year.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Val. I hope to see you again soon.
He tugs a black card from his pocket and presses it into my hand. The only thing on it is a phone number embossed in gold.
If you need anything, call this number and ask for Adrian.
Adrian, I intone, still memorizing his features. Rose pulls me away, and I let her, stumbling slightly as I shove the card into my clutch. We skirt the edge of the crowd until we reach an alcove, then Rose spins me to face her and clasps my face between her hands. "Are you okay?" Her voice is frantic, panicky, and thick. I bat her fingers from my face. "No, what? No. Why are you freaking out right now? Adrian was very nice to me." Her eyes are huge, and she still hasn't regained her color. "That man is a monster. The monster. The head of the Doubeck family. If think marrying Sal is bad, that man will chew Sal up and eat him for breakfast. He's not someone you fucking make friends with, Valentina." I shake off her hands and take a deep breath. Every second he and I spent talking about nothing felt meaningful. Thick with tension and possibility. A low ache has taken root in my belly and springs to life when I think about him. "You're overreacting. He was nice to me, and he didn't hurt the woman who basically molested him in front of the entire party. And we both know I don't use that word lightly, considering some of the things Sal has forced us to bear witness to." She shakes her head. "I don't know what happened between you, but don't think about him again. He will get you killed, tortured, and tossed out like trash. Just be careful. If he tries to talk to you again, be nice, but get away as fast as you can." "That is ridiculous. He's not some monster lying in wait to chew me up." She shakes her head, something else in her eyes now, and she spins me to face the crowd. Across the room, Sal is leaning against a column, and his eyes are locked on us. There's nothing kind there, nothing curious or open. The only thing I see in Sal's eyes when I look at him is death. "Him, on the other hand," I say, tugging her along with me as I head toward him, "I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to murder me the second after I say I do." When I reach him, he grips my arm hard and sets a punishing pace to the elevators. I guess the party is over. I try to look around, hoping I'll see Adrian one more time before we leave. No doubt this will be our last party if Sal saw us talking. And the hatred on his face tells me he did. He can't kill Adrian, but he can certainly hurt me enough that I won't try to talk to anyone else ever again. No sooner than the elevator doors close around us does the back of his hand hit my cheek, and the blow is hard. I can feel the indent of his knuckles where they made contact with my cheekbone. I do nothing more than cup the stinging spot and stare straight ahead. Breathe, and don't enrage him further. Those are the words I live by, and the words that have saved my life more times than I can count. And as long as his attention is locked on me, he will leave Rose alone. She's the only reason I've stayed in that house. I can pretend it's for my father's sake all I want, but I do it for her. My best friend, my only family. We reach the foyer, and I drop my hand to quickly pull some curls to cover the red welt I spot in the shiny elevator doors. He drags me through the people and furniture outside. Once the driver opens the limo door, he shoves me in. Rose goes around to the other door. When the car pulls away, I brace for the next strike, and like always, he delivers. Except I expect another slap. I don't expect the punch that hits solidly on my orbital bone. Blackness overtakes me before I even feel the pain.
4. Adrian. From the moment I climb out of bed to the moment I'm standing in the shower with the hot water beating down my back, I'm thinking about my little Val. My little Val. I don't know how I'll accomplish it yet, but I always get my way in the end. And if killing her bastard of a fiancé and coward of a father is what it will take to make it happen, then it'll be fucking Christmas. The crystal clear gray of her eyes comes back to me. There was no guile in them when she talked to me. Hell, I didn't even think she knew who I was when I told her my name. It had been a very long time since I met a woman who awakens me the way she does. I hang my head and stare down at the hot marble under my feet. My cock has been aching since I got out of bed, and I suspect if I don't do anything about it now, it will continue to rise every time Val's pretty eyes or sexy mouth spring to my mind. I grip my dick roughly and give the head a squeeze. No, she wouldn't touch me like this. She'd have to use both her delicate hands to work me, but she wouldn't touch me to hurt me. The innocence written in every line of her body told me she'd touch me to explore, to witness, and watch how to make me come apart for her. That's the kind of power the innocent crave. Not pain and torture, but pleasure and peace. It's the peace men like me grow addicted to. It's the peace I see in her face when I look at her. It's the peace making me fuck my hand in my own goddamn shower right now. I continue pumping my fist up and down my length while I tease my senses with the little hints of Val she gave me last night. The soft soap scent wafting from her skin. No perfume, barely any makeup, and that fucking hair. I groan, pumping faster now as I imagine my fingers twisting in the strands, brushing it from her face while I fuck her tight, hot body. Again, I picture her unbound length spread across my white sheets and waking up with it draped across my chest and her thighs between mine. How she'll look at me and wonder while I lick her cunt for the very first time. Because I know fucking Sal hasn't been doing a damn thing to pleasure her during their engagement. In fact, I doubt she's ever had a man between her thighs. A fucking virgin. The thought makes me shoot my load on the marble, and I spend longer than usual pumping myself as I come down from the fantasy. When I release myself, I'm thinking about the innocent smile she gave me and realize I'm back to fucking peace. She will belong to me one day, but I'll never be able to have peace. Not while my mother's killer is still alive, and not while I have an entire society to bring to heel under my control. My father managed it effortlessly until his age got the better of him, but I'm not quite ready to earn my crown in a river of blood. Maybe after I claim Val and Christmas comes early. The thought of her fiancé's blood spilling across black concrete chases away the sour mood I felt building. I usually didn't take joy in killing. If I had to do it, I had to do it, but him? No. I'd be more than fucking happy to insert a bullet into his pervert of a brain and then watch him shit himself as he dies. I grab the towel off the rack, then quickly dry off and dress before stepping out of my suite in the hall. The maids have already been through, but I hear the murmur of someone toward the dining room of my penthouse condo. Breakfast should have been finished hours ago. When I enter the room, I find Kai, my best friend and the leader of my unruly band of enforcers, talking on the phone. He's speaking Portuguese too fast for me to keep up. When I step into the room, he quickly ends his call and shifts to face me. "Did you talk to Novak's daughter last night?" I take the seat beside him at the round glass table and survey the black suit he's wearing today. "Hermenegildo, is it? Do I pay you enough to afford a $30,000 piece of fabric?" "Ari," he says, his tone edged with reproach. He's the only one who can call me by the name I used as a child. The name she called me, and he's the only fucking one who can use that tone of voice when he says it. It wasn't as if I planned to speak to her. She stepped out of the restroom when the twins were escorting someone out of the stairwell. Would you prefer I ignore her and make a scene? His eyes narrow. The way I hear it, you did make a scene when you kissed her knuckles in front of her fiancé. Back to fucking Sal, and my good mood evaporates into nothing. Oh, did the big bad child trafficker call to tattle on me? Kai sits back, his dark skin catching the light from the window on the far side of the room. We can't move on Novak yet. If you rile Victor and his partners, it might change something that we won't be able to account for in enough time to adjust the plans. Now he's calm, using a tiger tamer voice as if it will keep me from marching out the door and dumping Sal into oncoming traffic. A maid comes into the room carrying a tray of coffee, and I snag a mug as she sets it between us. When she leaves again, I meet Kai's eyes. I told you it meant nothing. Now drop it. If Sal is upset, well, he should know better than to make a fuss. The fact that he doesn't know better worries me more than anything. Usually weasels like him have a strong sense of self-preservation. If he feels confident, then there has to be a reason he feels that way. Kai takes a sip of his own coffee. He is about to marry Novak's daughter. Maybe he thinks Novak's position in this society will shield him. I shrug and slick back the wet curls from my face. Eventually it will dry that way and stay in place, but for now it pisses me off. But not enough to take ridicule from one of my 5 for asking them to buy me a blow dryer. Maybe I'll shave it off and be done with it. I wonder if Val would like my head shaved. She seemed interested in my hair as she scanned my features last night. No, I force my focus back to Kai. He thinks he's safe for now, and maybe he is. We can't move, and I doubt many are strong enough to take on Novak's operations. For this season at least, he might be safe, I say. But the words taste disgusting in my mouth. I hope that dickhole never feels a day of safety again, if only for the sadness I spotted in Valentina's eyes last night. What else do you have? I prompt, then take another sip of my coffee. Any fallout from the party last night? Any new battle lines drawn in blood this morning? He shakes his head. It's been a relatively quiet morning. I sent the 5 out to do a little digging in all the territories, see if they can pick up anything we might want to know about. I sent the twins to Novak's territory, since Alexei is the most level-headed of that lot, and Andrea will never risk his safety. Tell them to come and talk to me when they return. I want a personal report. He nods and then sits and watches me, saying nothing. What, Kai? If you're going to bring up Sal again, I'm going to punch you in the dick hard enough you won't be any use flirting at the casinos tonight. It's not about him. No, I'm just worried about you. My heart rolls over in my chest, but it doesn't show on my face. He knows I've been hunting for a wife, and the woman who stands by my side, who becomes my queen, has big shoes to fill. My mother is the only woman I've ever loved and the only woman I've ever cared about losing. Why? I'm confident I'll make an alliance this season or next, and then we won't have to worry anymore. You might be confident, but I'm not. Hell, you scare most women away with just a glance. Last night, people were walking to the other end of the room so they didn't have to cross your path to get to the bar. I shrug. When have I ever been the sort of man who puts people at ease? Tell me that. How is it news to any of you that finding someone I can trust who puts up with my very special level of insanity is going to be a difficult task? My mother's death had broken something inside me. Inside my father, too, not that he ever showed that pain to me. Now I live to take his place and do it better, build things stronger, strong enough that when I'm old and gray, no one will dare put a knife in my back. Maybe you need to get laid. You want me to call that girl from the casino you like? No, I don't want you to find someone to get my dick wet. I want you to do your fucking job and give me a way to bring down Novak, and soon. For a second, I entertained the idea of going to the casino, hunting down a girl with wild curls and a petite frame to slack this knife in my gut. But even the thought of it feels like a betrayal to her. A betrayal? To a fucking woman I have no claim over. At least, not yet. No, I won't do that. Because when I look her in the eye and tell her she belongs to me, I want to believe it, and I want her to know it as fact. Kai shoves out of the chair and buttons his jacket. For the record, since you asked, I won this suit off one of the Italians in a card game a month ago. He stripped it off right there at the table. I couldn't help but smile at that. Were you playing strip poker with one of the Italian boys, Kai? What would your mother think? His turn to smile now. She'd think I was crazy for walking away from his Lambo in favor of a few yards of fabric. I study him from the tip of his polished shoes to his short, immaculate haircut. She wouldn't be wrong, but you do look good, man. If you head to the casino, make sure everything is ready for the fight next week. I don't want any issues, and I don't want anyone thinking they can rig our system. With a nod, he takes his coffee, his phone, and his iPad with him as he walks out. A few minutes later, the front door slams and the alarm activates behind him with a sharp chime. Immediately, my thoughts zero back on Val. I wish I'd been able to talk to her longer last night. Spend a few minutes more listening to her talk and studying her. Fuck. I shove back the chair and stalk out of the room toward my office. For now, I need to put her out of my mind. The upcoming fight I'm hosting at my casino is an inter-society event, which is always fraught with danger during the season. I have shit to do, and it doesn't involve mooning over some girl who will be mine soon enough, no matter how fucking beautiful she is.
5. Valentina. A week after the party, the bruise on my face has finally shifted to a nasty yellow shade. The yellow shade is easier to cover with concealer, so I can finally stop hiding in my room. The last time I showed my father the bruises Sal left on me, he called me disgusting and told me I probably deserved it. I don't want to encourage Sal further with my father's approval. I haven't been able to stop thinking about Adrian and what Rose called him. A monster. And I spent a lot of my time lying in bed over the past few days, wondering if he's the kind of monster other monsters fear. A plan forms in my mind, but it's half-baked at best. I want to talk to Rose about it, but she's been avoiding me since the party, and since I haven't been able to leave my room much, I haven't figured out why. I finished dressing in comfortable jeans and a t-shirt. My father is out of town for the next week, so at the very least, the reprieve will mean I get to talk to Rose, and we won't have to see Sal very much. When I enter the small dining room for breakfast, it's empty. There is food on the table, though, so I help myself to bacon and toast, then grab the newspaper someone left there earlier. By the grease stains on the edge of it, and the fact that only a few pieces of bacon are left, I can tell my luck has turned, and Sal is in the house somewhere. If I sneak back to my room after I eat, maybe I won't have to see his greasy face. Instead of lingering, I take the paper and my plate up to my room and lock the door. So far, it's kept him out of my space. That, and the hefty fear of my father's reaction if he discovered him inside. It seems he's fine with Sal's bruises, but draws the line at premarital sex. Thank freaking goodness. I settle in a chair by my favorite bookcase and balance the plate on my knee while I scan the newspaper. The name of a new casino pops out at me, and I read the article. It's a puff piece about the restaurants and the great bar service, but I thought I remembered my father talking about an underground society fight being held there soon. Tonight, maybe? I stare at the door and wonder if I can sneak into my father's office without Sal seeing me. He'd have written something down about it if he planned to attend. And a place like that seems exactly where a girl might find herself a monster-eating monster. I finish up my toast and reread the article for any information that might help me. It doesn't give me anything useful, but it does give me a few minutes to bolster myself into going back downstairs to rummage through my father's office. Rose usually helps me do these things. She runs interference with the house staff or plays lookout when necessary. Not that I steal into his office often for information. Well, not recently when I might encounter my fiancé. Mentally, I should prepare myself for it to actually happen. It would be the easiest thing, the most acquiescing all around. Yet every time I have to consider Sal as my fiancé, I want to puke. I also have very little doubt that once my usefulness to him wears off, he'll kill me with his own 2 hands. Even then, I'm sure my father will find a way to blame me for it. I fold the newspaper and sit my plate on top of it, then head back down the stairs. A quick glance along the hallway reveals it's empty, and I sigh heavily, my shoulders falling away from my ears. I cross the hardwood floor to the double doors of my father's office and slip inside. Usually, when he's not in residence, he keeps them locked, but if he has to go out of town for longer than a day, he won't, just in case one of his associates needs to get inside for something. As always, the place is immaculate. The staff are ordered to dust daily, and if even one tiny thing is out of place, my father freaks out. I've been on the receiving end of one of those hissy fits many times. The cook calls him particular, but that's because she gets paid double what she would make anywhere else to deal with this crap. I can't complain either, because she is good at her job. I rummaged through the drawer he usually keeps a spare calendar in, but it's not there. He must have taken both his usual calendar and the spare on his trip. Which means something is going on I probably don't want to know about. Feeling a little down about not finding my prize, I glance around the room and give it one more half-hearted search for anything that might give me a clue about the casino or the fight. I knew I had a direct line to Adrian himself, but Rose insisted he was dangerous, and I don't want to disregard her opinion. If I attend the fight, I can see what kind of man he is and then retreat or approach with more information. With nowhere left to look, I sit in one of the leather club chairs across from my father's desk to think. So what if Adrian is more dangerous than I imagined when we first met? Isn't he the kind of man who might be able to do some damage to a guy like Sal? The only thing I couldn't abide was roping Adrian in to help me and then getting him hurt or worse. Thanks to my father, Sal is making powerful friends in the society. The thought of never seeing Adrian again because of Sal shoots a burn through my chest I don't understand. It's also not something I can entertain. Not when I'm about to be married off to a psychopath. The police are always another option. But after the one time my father brought the police chief to dinner and they spent hours talking, I crossed that exit strategy off my list of options. Rose suggested more than once I do it myself. My father wouldn't allow me to go to prison since it would sully his name and bring him under scrutiny from many sides. I just don't have the heart to tell her I'm not strong enough. Not my best friend, who endures so much by staying here with me when all she wants to do is run. I know she stays because she loves me, and I stay because I haven't quite given up hope that my father will return to the loving, doting man he was before we lost my mother. Everything changed after her death. Everything. And now I lay awake at night seeing the dead eyes of the woman he shot in the street a few weeks after it happened. I watched my mother die, and then I watched this woman, who didn't look much older than my own mother, die as well. Her blood ran into the sewer drain, and I watched it mix with the rain until my father pulled me away. Ever since then, I've been afraid to look at a gun or a knife or anything that wanders into these walls strapped to my father's associates. Once Sal realized my fear of guns, he likes to press them to my face to get my attention, and worse, to Rose's. I'm about to leave my father's office and hide out in my room with my demons when I hear a muffled groan from the door adjacent to my father's office. I wait, frozen, and listen for a few more seconds until it happens again. Definitely a masculine groan. Am I about to walk in on a couple of staff members sleeping together? Well, better me than the cook, or they will both be fired. I bolster myself to break things up so they can get back to work and don't get into trouble. Then I shove the door open and blink to try to understand what I'm seeing. It's not servants. It's Sal. And Rose. She's pressed over the edge of the desk Sal uses when he works with my father. Her skirt is bunched around her hips, and Sal is pumping into her from behind. I'm not jealous. Please, who the hell would be jealous of someone taking him away from me? But it's not him I'm watching. It's her. And the dead-eyed look she's wearing like the woman in the alley. Like my mother. except she's breathing, moving even, struggling. She's struggling. Everything snaps into focus as clear as day, and I start moving before I can think. My fist connects solidly with Sal's cheek, and he rears back as pain surges up my arm. But it throws him off enough that he releases Rose, and she can maneuver around the desk to stand behind me. She's a foot taller, but I don't care. Right now, I'd rip him apart with my teeth if I have to in order to protect her. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I demand. "You can't fuck me, so you rape my cousin?" He glares, tucking himself back into his pants before taking a menacing step forward.
She wanted it, and your father gave us permission, so go ahead and tell him you caught us together. He won't give a shit.
He tests the skin on his cheek and takes another step toward me. I hold my ground and spread my arms to block his view of Rose. "You touch her again, and I'll kill you." This time, he laughs at me. A loud sniffling guffaw, and then he spins around the room like it's all a joke.
"You, tiny little Valentine, think you can kill me?"
His face becomes serious, and he pulls a black handgun from a holster under his arm.
"How are you going to do that when you can't even look at a gun?"
He's right. Even now I can't stand the sight of it. I almost throw up my toast when he pushes the barrel against my lips and forces it against my teeth. With no choice, I stand there and take it, but I look him in the eye the entire time. If he wants to shoot me, he's going to watch the millions of dollars he would have gotten through our marriage bleed out my brain. Another heartbeat later, he turns away and goes back to his desk. I don't have to say a word to Rose. We both flee from the room up to my bedroom. I lock the door and drag the heavy armoire in front of it. Rose is huddled on the other side of the bed, her knees against her chest and her face in the carpet. Tears are pouring down her cheeks, and mine, I realize as I gather her into my arms and rock her gently against my chest. "I'm so sorry," I whisper. "I was supposed to keep you safe, and he got to you anyway. I never thought he would touch you." She doesn't respond, and all I can do is hold her until she falls asleep. Then I grab my pillow and blanket off the bed to make her more comfortable. My brain is strangely empty when I go to my bedside table and pull out both the black card and my cell phone. I dial the number and hit send. It rings several times, and then a female voice says, "Hello?" I suck in a slow inhale and blow it out soft enough it's not heard through the line. Then I say, "I'm calling to speak to Adrian, please." Vow to protect. 1. Valentina. Rose pleads with me again, begging, and it breaks my heart. I slip the gold hoop in my earlobe and close the back, taking a moment to compose myself before we go another round. "All I'm saying is this is a bad idea," she repeats for the 10th time. I face her and smooth my hands down the black silk bandage dress that hugs every inch of me a little too tightly. It was Rose's, and she adjusted it for me despite her reservations about my decision. The dress turns my lack of curves into something enticing for once. I wish I could appreciate it. My hands are shaking when I answer her. "I get it, but our choices are bad. Choice A that we've been living with, or bad choice B that is fresh and new and might be even worse," she supplies. I step into the towering heels, and despite her still grumbling, she kneels at my feet and straps the buckles at my ankle. It is highly likely I'll topple off them and make a fool of myself, but they complete the look. And tonight, I need to look like I mean business. Despite my father thinking I'm useless, I know his world, and I know how things operate. Looking the part is half the battle. Do you want to spend another 2 weeks hiding in here, sneaking out for food when we can't handle being hungry anymore? Because I don't. If we can get rid of Sal, then I'm willing to take the risk. All you have to do is stay here and cover for me. Tell anyone who asks I have my period and there's a mess all over the bathroom. It will gross anyone out enough that they won't ask you for details. She juts her chin up at me, her eyes glistening. I just wish you didn't have to make this choice in the first place. I kneel and capture her chin in my hand. This is not your fault. You are not to blame in any of this, so get that thought out of your head now. With a sniff, she nods. Fine. What else do you need from me? I drag her to stand in a hug. Help me out of the window and pray I don't break my neck in these damn shoes before I can sneak off the grounds. That earns me a little smile as she helps me steady myself on the way toward the window. The balcony leads out to a fire escape, so it's a matter of squeezing down a narrow flight of stairs to reach the grass below. It's all too easy to reach the street, order a car, and make it to the casino address the voice on the phone had given me. I didn't know if it had been Adrian himself, as I hadn't spoken to him long enough to memorize his voice, but it is the only lifeline I have. The casino is packed. People laugh and drink as the sound of slots and bells and crowds press in on me. I squeeze through the throngs of people hunting for the side entrance. I'd heard the special side door was only for those in the society, and only society members can gain access. As I approach, I'm not quite sure if I'm a part of the society or not. I've never participated in any of my father's business dealings, and the party I attended a couple of weeks ago was my first society event. I don't have time to consider it further as a man steps in front of the door, blocking my way. I barely have time to slap a sultry smile on my red-painted lips before I reach him. Hi, I say. Smooth. Super smooth. The man is at least a foot taller than me, his black hair tied back into a ponytail. He narrows his eyes and jerks his thumb toward the gambling crowds.
This isn't the place for little girls. Turn around.
His voice holds a hint of an accent that I can't place. I try to give him something like a cross between sexy and serious, even as I have to focus on not shivering under the hard edge of his stare. I'm not a little girl, and I was invited to this party. His eyes narrow, and he steps toward me. I refuse to back down, thinking of Rose and how much we need to be saved.
Who invited you then?
His tone says he doesn't believe a word I've said. I dig into the small clutch I brought that holds my phone, lip gloss, and all the cash Rose and I could scrape together and produce the card. He doesn't even look at it closely before he's holding the door open for me. He presses a black stamp onto my hand and waves me through. I whisper, "Thank you," as I pass and head down a long hallway. The rug under my feet is a rich crimson, and glittering sconces light the way. The floor tilts downward as I walk, like going down an incline before the carpet ends, and I reach a concrete floor and a barrage of shouting. In what looks like an open parking garage is a roped-off area. Seats are set up around it on 3 sides, and 2 men in the middle are beating on each other with their bare fists. I take a step backward, the light and comfort of the long tunnel looking a little more appealing than this brawling. But then I spot him. Adrian. He's on the far side of the ring with 2 other men flanking him. He's dressed similarly to our previous meeting, except in place of the bow tie, the collar of his black shirt is open, revealing the long line of his throat. I focus on him now. It seems like the only safe place, with blood flying from the beating in the ring. If I think about it, if I look, I'll go to some dark places. Places I've visited courtesy of Sal and the video library he enjoys forcing me to watch. Like gravity, his gaze hits mine, and I feel it through my entire body, all the way to my sore toes. It's like a balm, a soothing, cooling calm across my senses as we stare at each other. Yes, I felt something like this when we met, like my entire being knows that in his presence, I'm utterly safe, and for as long as I'm with him, I can relax and let down my guard. He gestures at one of the men beside him, and that man skirts the ring, the mixed crowd watching the fight parting around him like they fear touching him. Then he's beside me and gently leading me away from the ring toward another hallway. This one is identical to the first, and I let the man grip my elbow gently to tug me beside him. It should occur to me to ask who this man is and why he's taking me away from Adrian, but I don't. It's not like I have a choice in my presence here. I signed away my choice the second I walked into the building. The man opens a door, tugs me into a room, and then closes the door again, leaving me alone. I stare around the space. It looks like an empty office, maybe. The furniture is deep polished wood, but nothing is on the desk or decorates the walls. I'm tempted to sink into the leather chair on the far side of the room, but decide to stay upright, prepared for anything. Who knows what this man is going to ask for in exchange for his help? But to save Rose, I'm prepared to do anything. I don't know how long I stand there waiting, but eventually the doorknob turns and two men enter, followed closely by Adrian. I meet his eyes until my fear gets the better of me, and I drop my gaze to the floor.
"Well, look at you,"
he says. His words make me glance up. The other two men have flanked me, but I don't even care, not when his eyes are trained on me, his gaze raking me from head to toe. I can almost feel it, but not in the same creepy way Sal's beady eyes linger on my tits or ass. No, this is different. It feels like he's inspecting me, looking beneath my layers to the parts I keep hidden. Adrian drinks me in, and when he stops, he focuses on my hair. It's tied back into an elegant chignon, done by Rose, of course, but I wanted it restrained.
"Everyone out."
He orders. His booming voice startles me, and I jump in my shoes, barely managing to remain standing. The men don't question him. They simply walk around him and close the door once they leave. I'm alone with him for the first time since the party. Like really, truly alone. And I'm not sure what to do with myself. My courage is flaking away with every twiddling second we stand here, and I try to hold on to why I've come in the first place. Rose. I have to save Rose.
"You came for a reason,"
he states. It's not a question, so I'm not sure how to answer. I'm not sure what answer will make him help me, help us. I clear my throat and straighten my shoulders, doing my best to appear strong. I came to see you.
"For?"
He prompts. The iciness of his tone makes me shiver.
"If you can't say it out loud, then you aren't ready to be here, Val."
When he steps forward, I catch the smoky ginger scent of him, and suddenly, I can't focus, not on anything but how very close he's standing now, or how his hand reaches behind my head and pulls the pins from the bottom of my hair to release it. The heft of it tumbles out of its restraints, and he catches it in his hand. I don't know why the idea of his hand in my hair makes me feel so warm. No, not warm. Hot. I've never felt this way around a man. Warm and needy. All the experience I have with sex is visual and forced. I don't know what to do with these developing feelings, except lean into his touch and drag his scent deep into my lungs to keep it there, to memorize it.
"Tell me why you're here, Val."
His voice is just above a whisper, and I feel the heat of his breath on my ear. I swallow thickly as reality crashes back down around me. His hand is still sifting through my curls, and I don't dare pull away as I speak. I need help with a problem.
What kind of problem?
He asks, his eyes focused on my hair. If all he wants is to rub my scalp and play with my curls, then I can handle this. I force another ragged breath into my lungs. I'm here, so I might as well commit now. I want you to kill my fiancé. His fingers freeze and snap into a fist, pulling my hair tight against my scalp. Not painfully, but I'm aware of him there, his touch lingering like an invisible noose around my neck. One wrong move, and I'm as good as dead.
Do you understand what you're asking me for?
I nod, my courage gone now that I've stated what I want. He continues, moving his fingers again.
And why do you think I can help you with this little problem of yours?
Shit. Do I tell him he's the society's version of a boogeyman? Does a monster already know he's a monster? Or will he lash out at the person who informs him? Well...
Val, just say it. You haven't shied away from being honest with me so far.
His eyes lock on mine, and I let myself relax into his touch, his hand practically cradling my head now. You have a reputation of being ruthless. My cousin says you're dangerous and scary.
Yet you are here.
Another statement, so I don't say anything.
Do you understand what you're asking me for?
He asked the question once more while his fingers massaged the base of my neck. His touch feels so good, I barely stifle a moan of pleasure.
Do you understand there is always a price for these types of things? Normally, it comes in the form of money, guns, drugs, or...
His voice trails off, and then he continues.
Are you willing to pay the price? Any price?
I nod without thinking, because there's really nothing to consider. I'll do anything to keep Rose safe, even if it means sacrificing myself. I meet his eyes and nod again. I understand. He untangles his fingers gently and takes a large step away. I lean toward him, craving the touch he just revoked.
If you understand, then strip. Take everything off and put it on the desk.
2. Adrian. I don't know if asking her to strip is a test for her or a test for myself. After only 2 minutes in this woman's presence, I'm already butting up against the edge of my control. And that fucking dress should be outlawed. I want to pluck out every single man's eyeballs who dared to look at her in it or dared to covet her, because I watched many of the fight's spectators note her passing. If I can do this, if I can watch her remove every single scrap of clothing and not take her right here on the desk, then I know I can handle helping her. My inability to maintain my control isn't something I'm willing to consider yet. Her hands shake as she lifts them to the thick straps that cut into her shoulders. I notice now that the dress is maybe one size too small for her. No wonder it looks so fucking indecent. Then, as if she forgot what she was doing, she drags her hands over to the curve of her waist. I spot the zipper under her arm and wait for her to ask for my help. Again. When people ask me for things, it usually pisses me off because I don't work for anyone but myself. But it's not the same with those big eyes staring at me so innocent and full of hope. It also happens that I've been dreaming about ripping Sal's dick off since I met him. Killing him will be no hardship for me. Val, I whisper, if you don't ask for what you need, you'll never get it. Her eyes flash to mine, locking deep, shooting straight to my cock. I swallow and step into her, taking the top of her zipper between my fingers. Do you want me to help you? She nods once, her fingers shaking as they brush my knuckles to pull away. I carefully slide the zipper down, ensuring I don't catch it on her skin or any underwear. Underwear she doesn't seem to be wearing. A ridiculous concept, since I'm sure by looking at her, this woman has never even had an orgasm in her life. Sweet innocence rolls off her in waves. I almost feel like an asshole for wanting to turn her over the desk right now just to show her what she's been missing. Almost. When I finish lowering the zipper, I drop my hands. Any closer, and I won't be able to keep from touching her, pushing her further than she can handle right now. I don't have all night, sweetie. If you're serious about this, a little nudity isn't a high price to pay, especially for what you're asking. She doesn't meet my eyes this time as she speaks. It's not about being naked. I don't know what you're going to do when I've taken my clothes off. Maybe you'll rape you, I supply. I tuck my hands into the curls of the nape of her neck. Sweetie, you're already wet for me. I don't need to rape you to have you. But if it makes you feel better, all I'm going to do is look at you. For now. Just look, she whispers, finally bringing a tear-filled gaze to mine. I release my hold on her. Look, and maybe touch. Nowhere you'd find objectionable, I promise you. She stutters out of breath and then quickly jerks the straps of her dress down, 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 to peel off her hips. The tight material is cut into her skin in places, leaving red lines on her creamy pink skin. Her motions are jerky, almost angry, and I smile as she finishes throwing her clothing and shoes on the table. Earrings too? She asks. I shake my head. You can leave those. It's fine. But let's be reasonable here. Fold your clothing up and put it on the table like a civilized person. Her hands shake again, but she does as directed and my smile grows, until I finally get a good look at her. More than just the faint red lines of her dress mar her. Bruises, both old and new, dot her body from her ankle to her neck. I can see the edges under whatever makeup she's applied to cover them. Rage fires through me, and I must step away and take a moment so I don't walk out of this room, go to her house, and shoot every motherfucker in sight. What's worse is I hate the fucking way she tucks her delicate chin almost all the way into her chest, as if trying to protect her face without actually making the moves to do it. She can sense my anger but doesn't realize it's not directed toward her. I circle her another time, allowing my anger to cool slightly. It's not her fault the men in her life don't understand what a good thing they were given, but I can see it. I see her for what she really is. Some part of me rebels at taking her innocence and corrupting it. Because the moment I touch her, and I will touch her, all that innocence will be mine. When I come back around to her front, I lean in to force her gaze to mine, but she studiously looks away. No, she is disassociating from this, and I can't have that. Gently, like cupping a baby bird on the end of my finger, I lift her chin away from her chest until I can see her eyes better. She still refuses to look at me. Val, look at me, please. I keep my tone even despite the need to eviscerate and exact revenge for every mark made on her skin. It takes a few moments of the patience I barely cling to before she meets my eyes. There's nothing but sharp fear there, and I hate it. It's all accusation and hatred, and even though it's not directed at me, I still don't like it. I told you I wouldn't hurt you. Breathe, little angel. Breathe. Her sob comes out first, and she clutches her hand over her lips, eyes wide. I nod and let her go, let her break down in whatever way she needs so I can be there to put the pieces back together. Even if she hadn't been able to remove her clothing, even if she walked out of here right now and I never saw her again, I'd still pay a visit to her bastard fiancé and show him what kind of man takes his anger out on his woman. Men like Sal. Men like my father. I take a moment to compose myself while she does the same. When her hand falls away and she stands with her fingers tucked together behind her back again, I return to meet her eyes. Now, tell me again what you want me to do to your fiancé. She shivers but keeps her gaze on mine. I like a little steel in her spine when it comes to asking for what she wants, and right now, the hard glint in her eyes is making me hard as a fucking rock. I want you to kill my fiancé, Sal. Any particular way? She shakes her head, losing some of the bravado. I don't think she considered that she'd have options on how it's done. I give her a gentle smile, the ones I use for the society and the simpering girls who will never be strong enough to become my wife. Then she speaks up before I can question her further. I want it to hurt. I want him to hurt before he dies. Fuck yes. There she is. Not just an angel then, an angel of death. My angel. I lift her chin again, only an inch because she kept it up this time, staring me down, daring me to ask questions. Anything else you need before we discuss payment? She blinks and gestures at herself. This isn't payment? Val, you should know how our world works by now. There's always a cost, and it's often more than you ever wanted to pay to begin with. I study her as she thinks it through. She came here for a killer, and a killer is what she found. But is she brave enough to see it through? I already know the answer. I'm waiting to see if she does. After a heartbeat, she nods. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't have any money. What I had I spent on the cab ride over, but I can pay you any other way. Or once Sal is gone, maybe I'll be engaged to someone else. Someone who actually has some. The idea of another man touching her hits me so hard I jerk away and spin so she doesn't see the sheer rage on my face at the thought. It would scare her too much too soon. She's not ready to see that part of me. I have more money than I need. We'll make a deal, you and me. She steps toward me, her bare feet shuffling against the floor. Then tell me what you want. Finally, she understands. I face her again and stare into her deep doe eyes. Fucking hell, she is gorgeous. And a fighter with an innocent soul, a combination I seem to be drawn to. Isn't it obvious, Angel? I want you. Me? At that moment, I see the true depths of her naivete and wonder if she can even make it in this world. I've already decided she's mine, so we'll figure it out together. You, Val. From the moment I met you outside that bathroom, I've wanted you. But I'm not Sal. I won't abuse you like he did. When I take you, you'll scream in pleasure and rip into my back with your nails out of sheer bliss. I promise you that. Her arms tremble as if she's picturing it. The urge to reach down and cup her pussy to see if she is wet overwhelms me. A tiny part of my brain says I promised I wouldn't. I can't scare her away yet. I need to make her mine first. I back her up against the table, caging her body in with mine without touching any of her soft skin on display. I lean down, my fists beside her hips, and stop only inches from her lush pout. That's my offer. You gain your freedom from Sal, but you become mine in return. You should know I'm not an easy man. I won't force you to do anything you don't want, but I expect, if you make this choice willingly, that you come to it willingly. What? She starts again, voice barely above a whisper. What's that mean? It means when you come to me, an angel, I can't wait until you do. Then you'll be mine in every way. You can tell me when you don't like something or if you disagree, but I won't accept anything less than obedience and your willing participation. Obedience? Another tremor in her tone. Get thoughts of him out of your fucking head right now. I said I'm not that shitbag fiancé of yours, and I mean it. You will belong to me, and you'll be treated like the angel you are. I have other means to get my way that don't involve putting bruises on your body. Her eyes are wide, tears filling the brims. I let my temper out just enough to scare her, but it's already too late. Gathering her into my arms gently, I'm mindful of her bruises and let her weep against my chest. When she finishes, a dark ring of makeup smudges around her eyes, but she looks up at me and nods. I understand what you are offering, but I'm not the only person it concerns. I need to talk to my cousin Rose first. Rose? I think back to the girl clutching at her friend from the party. She's my cousin, and my sister, and my best friend. I'm doing this for her. If I go, she comes too. We have to decide together. Gently, I ease her away from me. Grabbing her dress, I kneel at her feet and help her step into it. Her cunt is an inch in front of my face, and my mouth waters to taste her. But I hold back because there will be time soon enough. Once I zip her into the dress and help her put her shoes back on, she's already wiped her face with a handkerchief. Without the heavy eye makeup, she looks even younger and so fucking corruptible. I brush my thumb over her cheek and nod. I'll give you a few days, and then, my angel, you'll come back to me.
3. Valentina. I don't even have words to describe what I'm feeling as one of Adrian's men leads me out of the office to the casino. We stand in front of the doors waiting, but I don't realize for what until a black town car pulls up in front of me. The man, who doesn't offer his name, opens the door, helps me in, and shuts it behind me. We pull away, and I try to gather my thoughts. I try to make some semblance of order. If I can give myself to Adrian, our problems are solved. He'll get rid of Sal, and Rose will be safe. The downside is I'd yet again belong to a man. It seems I'm destined to be owned by someone for my entire life. I wouldn't hate the idea if it were the right man. I think back to the intense look on Adrian's face as he watched me. It was as if he saw every tiny twitch I made and knew exactly why. My face heats, and I press my hands to my cheeks to stifle some of it. He saw the bruises, and now he knows my shame. I don't know if him knowing is better or worse at the moment. It almost feels liberating that someone else knows this secret I've held so long. The society isn't made of decent people, but when out in public, mixing with the group, they are meant to look decent. This means the abuse, the rape, the crime, all of it is hidden discreetly away, waiting for business meetings and private affairs. I didn't know much, but I'd seen Rose's and my abuse overlooked constantly. It's always easier to look away than speak up, but only for the witnesses, never for those suffering. I stare out the window and watch the casino lights fade away. My mind is still on Adrian. Rose is terrified of him. He's supposedly one of the most ruthless men in the society. My father hates him, but also won't speak about him because of some feud, so I don't know much on that side. I prefer not to talk to Sal directly unless my father forces me to spend time with him, so I couldn't get information there either. From my own interactions with him, I'm torn. I want to rub myself against him and that maddening spicy ginger scent of his, but at the same time, I can see the darkness in his eyes, and I know he's not gentle with everyone he meets. I don't know if it makes me feel better or worse that he's treated me so. I direct the car to pull up down from the property, and thankfully, he doesn't argue with me about it. As I climb out, I give him a bright smile as if I do this every day. Then I stand on the side of the road until he finally pulls away. Now I just need to get back into the house without anyone seeing me. Rose is supposed to keep watch for me, but if she's running interference, then I'll have to fend for myself. I take off my shoes this time, determined not to break an ankle, and reach my bedroom window easily. It's dark inside, but the window slides up easily and silently, allowing me to not so gracefully climb over the ledge and into my bedroom. I don't make even a step before something catches my hair and levers me back. At first, I think it's the window, that my unruly mess of a head got stuck on it somehow, but then the darkness lifts enough for me to see Sal standing right inside, lying in wait for me. I hit the floor next, barely getting my hands under me to break the fall. Pain shoots up my right arm and into my elbow, but I don't have time to consider it. I scramble forward, intent to get my feet under me and escape, but I don't get far. His heavy boot connects with my ribs, and I lift up enough with the force of the strike to fall back down hard. More pain. Every inhale now hurts, and I cough a few times, ragged and wet. That can't be good. Sal crouches beside me, his boot almost at eye level, and captures my hand in his. It yanks me off balance, and my shoulder rubs hard across the hardwood.
I see we've been busy tonight.
He spits at me. I peer up at him and see his eyes locked on the black stamp smudged across the back of my hand. I want to yank my hand from his grip, but it'll only hurt me worse for fighting back, so I stay still. He wants me to give him a reason to hit me, so I turn my eyes on the floor, even as tears begin to fall against my will.
You've got nothing to say for yourself, you fucking whore?
I want to defend myself, but can I really? I'd strip naked for a stranger as a down payment to kill my fiancé. Not something I can exactly use in my defense. It doesn't matter, though, because he doesn't want me to say anything. Again, he wants any excuse to hurt me, and talking will only give him more opportunities. I let out another gurgling cough and taste blood in my mouth. Shit. Rose and my Dr. Google medical tips were likely going to have a tough time with internal bleeding. Not like I can throw an ace bandage on it and call it a day. Sal's grip digs in tighter as he pulls my hand up to his face. Then he licks the ink there, his tongue wet and hot and thoroughly disgusting. I barely keep my face neutral as bile rushes up my throat. Puking on him will not help the situation. I study the floor and the tiny droplets of my blood splattered underneath me. Blood dripped out of my mouth, and I hadn't even realized. Interesting. It's okay, though, because I feel myself sliding into that sleepy place, a little pocket of the world where I can go when Sal beats on me. A place to feel nothing until the brutality stops, and I can pick up the pieces that are left. Or Rose can. It hits me that with him here, I haven't seen her. She should be here waiting for me. I can't ask him because drawing attention to her might make things worse, but my worry slips underneath the calm I'd been building enough to fracture it. If something happens to her, then he'll have finally broken me. I'm dragged to my feet, his arms around my waist, but I can't stand. The pain from his grip around my ribs is too much. My vision swims in and out of focus, and while he screams, spit flying in my face, all I can think about is Rose, and that I hope she stays hidden, safe. And I hope she doesn't see what's left of me when Sal finishes this. I can see it in his eyes that he wants to kill me. He wants to watch the life leave my eyes, just like he watches in those videos of his. He drags me over to my bed and throws me on top of it. The icy glint of fear is still keeping me from that safe little room in my mind. If I could just see that Rose is okay, then I can lie here and bear whatever he does to my body, as long as she's safe. He rips off my dress, leaving me naked and exposed to the chilled night air coming in from the open window. If any of the outside guards hear anything, they certainly aren't running to help. In fact, everything seems eerily quiet, apart from his screaming at me about being a whore to Adrian. Some of his words filter in, and I make the mistake of meeting his eyes.
There she is,
he whispers.
Don't worry, baby. I'm going to treat you so much better than he did. If you weren't waiting for marriage anymore, you should have come to me first. I'm your fucking fiancé.
I can't even open my mouth to refute him. Nothing comes out but a wheezing cough. Then one word. Rose? His face splits into a grin, a sadistic, demented, shit-eating grin that chills every inch of me. No. I glance around, fighting him now, trying to get up, but he shoves me down harder. Then I see silky dark hair and a light cast by the open door out to the hallway. But I can't see her face. I sob, ragged and loud in the silence that I'd filled in my head before. I try to wrench from Sal's grip, try to crawl to her, and he lets me, and I don't fucking care because it gets me closer to her. When I reach her, I dig my fingers into her wrist, checking for a pulse. It's there. Thready, but there. It takes all my strength to get closer to her and pull her onto my lap. But I barely graze my hand over her head to move her hair back when Sal has me by the arms again. He jerks me out from under her shoulders, his hands fisted in my hair as he yanks me behind him. I spin, trying to get free to get back to her, to help her, to save her. But he is stronger than me. Soon, he has me up on the bed, his clothed weight pressing me into the mattress as he ties me to the frame. The ropes dig into my skin as I flail and struggle, screaming for Rose. After a moment, he shoves a wad of something in my mouth and tapes over it with duct tape. I stare at him wide-eyed as I realize his erection is pressing into my thigh. The bastard likes this. He gets off on it. I'd seen it hundreds of times, but now the proof humping my inner thigh sends bile up my throat again. I have to swallow against it because if I puke now, I'll drown. I can't save Rose if I'm dead. He doesn't stay long. Once secure, he climbs off the bed and removes his clothing as he stands over Rose. I want to squeeze my eyes shut because I know what he's going to do to her. Worse, he's going to make me watch it, unable to help her this time. I sob, tears wetting my cheeks. No! He can't take her from me. Once nude, he rolls her over onto the hardwood. Her hands slap hard against it, and I have one shining moment of relief that she's unconscious and won't be awake for this humiliation. Then he's on her, pumping into her hard, fast, furiously. I fight against the bonds, my fingers going numb as I try to wrench my wrists free. I scream and scream and scream, trying to get someone to hear me. But no one comes. And when he's finished with her, I'm still and silent on the bed, watching her red blood, so bright in the hallway light, drip off the end of a knife. My Rose is gone. I feel nothing. I am nothing. The bastard has finally broken me. When his face breaks my vision, his eyes glassy with adrenaline, I don't even shrink back. He whispers in my ear.
I'm going to leave you two here for a bit, let you say your goodbyes. And when your father comes home in a few days, she'll be out of my way, out of his hair, and you're going to tell him she met someone and ran off. If you don't, well, I'll kill everyone you love. And then, once we're married...
He trails the bloody knife down my chest between my bare breasts.
Well, I'll do the same to you.
Then he's gone, and all I see are Rose's dead eyes. He doesn't realize I have nothing left to lose now. He's already taken the only thing I love from me. I smile to myself and stop fighting the pain. I have nothing left to lose.
4. Adrian. If I snap at everyone a little more throughout the next week, well, they can fuck off. Even my 5 give me a wide berth as I go about my business. The only one brave enough to talk to me is Kai, and he keeps things to the point, until I drop my coffee mug all over the table in my distraction. What's up? Your mood wouldn't have anything to do with that Novak girl coming to the fight the other night, would it? I scowl at the fine weave of his suit, trying to identify it like I always do. But again, I am distracted. All I see in my head when I close my eyes is her. The soft fall of her hair as it sifts through my fingers. The cupid bow of her full lips begging for a proper kiss. Hell, the scent of her, and how her entire body went rigid when I dropped to my knees to help her dress. Of course, now, after expecting her to show up the following morning, she is nowhere in sight. Can I help with something? Kai offers. It's only because he doesn't push me that I answer him this time. What is Novak up to? Kai shakes his head, uncertain, a place he definitely doesn't like to be. You mean Ms. Not fucking Val. Although now that he mentions it, I do want to know why she isn't currently in my bed naked and sleeping off an orgasm. But I don't tell him that. No, her father. He's been out of town for a while. His business trips don't usually last so long, and when they do, he takes Sal with him. I want to know where he's been, what Sal has been up to in his absence, and where Valentina is at all times. Kai nods, clearly relieved to be given a task in his purview, and heads out of the dining room. I should eat something, but I can't focus. Even more so now that I have spilled coffee all over the place and need to change. I'm forced to put up a mental barrier to Val and the disruption of her in order to focus. As soon as she's here and she's mine, I'll be able to relax. Until then, everything reminds me of her and the fact that I don't have her here with me, safe and sound. Once I'm cleaned up, I head down to the command center, a large room my trusted lieutenants like to use to debrief or prep for something. It's a big enough space to hold us all and doesn't feel as formal as the dining room or living rooms. Vincent, my first lieutenant, second only in rank to Kai, has his big feet slung up on the desk, his blonde ringlets mussed, his white button-down straining against his solid frame. I shove his legs off the table when I come around it and take a seat between him and my fourth lieutenant. Alexei is dressed up today in a suit and tie, which isn't his usual uniform. Kai have you on recon today? I ask Alexei, even while glaring back at Vincent, who's grumbling at me. Yeah, Kai is sending me to monitor your little princess. I shove him out of the chair before he can react and spin away from my grip. She's not a fucking princess, and when she does come here, you'll be the perfect gentleman. But what about you, boss? Are you going to be the perfect gentleman? He says, backing toward the door. I stand, my hands crushing the leather of the chair I'd been sitting in. Let's be very clear. If anyone touches her or so much as looks at Valentina, I will kill him. The room is deadly silent as I continue. You may be the people I trust most in the world, but she will be my wife. She just doesn't know it yet. Both men stare at me with their hands up in an attempt to calm me. I feel foolish. Snapping at my men is not something I usually do. I've seen how easily a man can tear down his entire world by treating his men poorly. Alexei rushes out before I have time to come up with some kind of an explanation. I won't apologize, but he deserves to know me snapping at him was more about me than him. That leaves Vincent. I glance over at him, resuming my seat and stare up at the oversized monitor on the wall. It keeps track of any current operations in my range, but today it's blank. Nothing but a news show on mute with the subtitles scrolling at the bottom. You okay, boss? Vincent finally dares to ask. I'm sure Kai has already briefed you. I'm waiting on something, and you know how much I love to be kept waiting. He snorts his agreement and shifts in his chair to snag his phone off the table. It's Kai. He's on the fiancé and says he's acting stranger than usual. I consider this new information. With Val's father out of town, that leaves Sal alone with her and her friend she mentioned. Rose. What would make him start acting erratically? It bothers me, a low thrum in my gut, that I feel like I'm missing a key part of this puzzle. And once I find that missing piece, I'll regret slipping it into the slot to see the entire picture. It doesn't matter. Leaving it unfinished isn't an option. Go. Follow him. Let Kai figure out what the elder Novak is up to. If you get anything weird, send me a text so I know immediately. Vincent scoops up his keys, pockets his phone, and leaves the room without another word. Something I like about the man. I trust my men, but the itch to have her here under my own gaze is too much, so I try to focus on other things. An upcoming job we were hired to facilitate that should go off without a hitch. Even with Kai at the helm, as he usually is since my father's death, there shouldn't be any problems. So why do I still feel so off? I resolved to stop being so fucking pussy-whipped, especially since I haven't even had her yet, and get back to work. It's not until Kai throws a file folder on the table in front of me later in the day that I realize I'd finally managed to focus and get some shit done. What's this? I ask, already opening the brown craft folder to peruse the contents. It's the surveillance I ordered on Novak. He's in New York. He has been for over a week, maybe. There wasn't any definitive answer on when he left. and my spy on the inside of Novak's place was MIA when I tried to contact him. I shove the maps I'd been working on to the side and bring the file flat onto the glossy surface. While thinking, I slip out of my jacket, roll up my sleeves, and settle back into the chair. Novak is working on an oceanic smuggling deal. The idea looks lucrative, with very little oversight from law enforcement, if they've already lined up a ship and forged customs documents. Knowing this stuff about my enemy always helps inform my next move, yet I'm annoyed there isn't one mention of Valentina. What about the girl? I ask, still scanning the images he provided. Kai shakes his head. She hasn't left the house in days, from what I can tell, and was last seen on the night she came to the casino. Maybe she decided to hide out since her father is gone and her creepy fiancé is lurking around. Why is Sal around? Doesn't he usually go with Novak on these trips? What's he been doing all this time while Novak has been gone? Finally, Kai takes the seat beside me and settles in to talk. From what I can tell, he's been beating on prostitutes and spending Novak's money right under his nose. Mostly on the prostitutes and then to their pimps to keep them from bashing his head in. It helps, his family has a solid foothold in that industry. If an industry is what you could call it. I always preferred the term human trafficking for what Sal and his family get wrapped up in. While I have no problem putting a bullet in someone's ear, I draw the line with hurting women and children like that. A vision of my mother's face flashes in my mind for a heartbeat before I shake it away and look back over Kai's report. Get Vincent back here. He hasn't texted me, and I want to know more about what this jackhole has been up to since his babysitter has been gone. And for fuck's sake, find out where Val is. She's at the house, boss, he supplies. I've had people on it since we took her home the other night. She hasn't left the place once. Why does she need to with the size of her staff? With Sal out doing whatever the fuck knows what, and Novak in New York seemingly indefinitely, this might be the only shot I get. I check my watch, and then the window. The sun will be going down soon. Perfect. Round up the team. We're going in to get her. The minute the words are out of my mouth, I know they are the right move. I can feel it under my skin, urging me to find her, take her, touch her. What are you thinking? Kai asks, not even pretending to move on my orders. I drag him up by his very expensive suit collar. We're going after her, and once she's here, I can stop thinking about her and actually get some work done. It takes Kai another minute to follow me. Of all my men, he's often the only one who will disagree with me on things, something I've always appreciated about him. Are you sure about this? If Novak finds out it was you who took his daughter, he'll declare war. I wave him off, energized by the fact I'm going to see her again very soon. Aren't we already at war? And we both know he doesn't give a shit about her unless it's to use her in a bargain. It's the only reason Sal is in her life to begin with. With no further argument, he rounds up the rest of the team until all 7 of us are standing on the driveway waiting for the cars to take us. Technically, I could have done this alone or with Kai, but I want to be prepared for any strange security Sal might have put into place during Novak's absence. Without our usual spy, our intel is too old to risk going in alone. I feel better on the drive to the house, but then as we pull up to the gate, my stomach drops out. The entire house is dark, and it looks deserted. Even on lower staff days, the lights would all be turned on. Security would be monitoring the gate, and hell, even a chubby guard dog was known to roam the property on occasion. But now, there's nothing but eerie quiet, which settles unevenly across my shoulders. If something has happened to her, then Sal is the next person who will get a visit tonight. I don't care if he helped or not. We pull up down the road and hoof it to the gate, Andrea pulling up last, and she can work the charm on the mostly male staff if necessary. Even the sounds of the woods around the property feel quiet. We enter through a servant's side door, the one the staff usually take, and find the entire place empty. Everything is shiny and clean. It's like someone told the staff to take a few days off and not return. It doesn't bode well. I palm my handgun and lead the way through the kitchen and down the hall. It's not far to her bedroom, according to the earlier spy's maps, but it's not the darkness that makes me stop in the middle of the corridor. It's the acrid scent of death in the air. A scent I'll never forget.
5. Valentina. I don't know how long I lay there. More than hours, but less than weeks, maybe? The time doesn't seem to have any meaning or form. It doesn't matter, because I can't feel anything. Not in this place I've gone in my mind. The place where nothing happened, and I'm asleep, comfortable in my bed, instead of tied down like an animal. I might be able to convince myself if my stench wasn't so strong. It's not just unwashed skin, but I know I've made a mess of my bed, of the floor, no doubt, and no one dared to do anything to help me. I'd always gotten along well with the servants, treating them like family and giving them gifts during the holidays. It would seem that friendliness had always been an illusion. Not a single one of them would risk untying me. Only the maid ventured in far enough to give me a few sips of water the first day he'd left me here. Then she took one look at everything and never returned. I've rubbed the skin on my wrists raw from trying to loosen the ties, but Sal has had enough practice at securing prisoners. The knots won't budge. Rose would help me. She'd risk anything to help me. Something flashes in my mind, a vision of Rose's eyes, but they don't look right, and I shove the image away for fear of it taking hold and staying in my head. Rose doesn't look like that. She's beautiful and vibrant and will help me as soon as she can. I drift in and out of consciousness, not sure where the nightmares end and reality begins. Everything hurts. It hurts to breathe or move. I've lost most of the feeling in my hands and feet, but I still try to focus on loosening the bonds. It's nothing but pins and stabbing pain with every shift. Rose wouldn't give up, so I can't either. The next time I wake up, the scent in the room is more pungent. I can't breathe through my nose, and when I breathe through my mouth, it makes me gag. So I take shallow breaths and watch the light through the window. It fades to nothing until the room is dark and shadows play across the walls. I've never been afraid of the dark. Why should I be when the monsters walk around in the daylight? Each pulse of pain through my body is starting to drift off to a hazy end. A few more, and maybe I'll fall back asleep for a while. If I sleep, then maybe someone will untie me before I wake up again. Maybe Rose will be here with me when I wake up again. It's the only solace I can find as my body starts to give out inch by inch. When I open my eyes again, I can barely pull my eyelids apart. Good. Why should I anyway? Not when everything hurts, and I can't breathe right through the smell. But something new happens when I slip my eyes open this time. Someone is leaning over me. I should be scared, right? Did Sal come back to finish killing me like he promised? Maybe he decided to forget the money my wedding will bring in favor of killing me slowly and painfully. I try to say something to the face. It's not Sal, nor any servant in the house, but I know his face. He's familiar to me, yet I can't think of where or how I know him. His hair looks shiny in the light. The overhead light is now on, I realize slowly. His mouth is moving. It's a pretty mouth, full and made for kissing. I don't know anything about kissing except for what Sal has forced on me. If Sal knew I thought about kissing this stranger, he'd definitely kill me. I drift again. Hands are on me, and I want to fight them off, slap them away like Rose would do, but I don't have the strength. I let them touch me and can't even open my eyes to look at them. The next time I inch my eyes open, there's something wet on them. Was I crying? I thought I'd run out of tears days ago, weeks ago, years ago. Someone is speaking to me, soothing and low, as a pressure gently taps against my shoulders. It takes me a long time to figure out that the voice doesn't want me to get up. I lift my hand high, and it flops back to the bed because I'm not tied up anymore. My limbs are still pins and needles punctuated with pain, but I can move them again, so that's a good sign. Maybe my father came home and saw what Sal did to me. Is it sad that a daughter thinks her father will save her even after years of neglect?
Stay the fuck down, Val,
a voice says. No one calls me Val. I blink against the bright light of the room, and then suddenly it's not as bright. The voice dimmed the lighting so I can open my eyes fully. I blink a few more times and stare up into the face I thought I remembered from a dream. Where am I? A warm sensation slides down my arm, and I glance over to watch him run a cloth on the same path. What are you doing?
I'll answer your questions if you stop struggling to get up,
he says. I immediately like his voice. It's deep and full of authority and power, but not edged with cruelty like Sal or my father. He makes me want to please him, so I stay still and let him work. Unconsciousness is still hovering at the back of my mind, ready to drag me under again. I know I'm not strong and that I need to rest, but I can't while he's there with that face and that voice and those lips. I like the way you sound, I grate out. My own voice is scratchy and raw. From the screaming, I screamed for a long time, but no one ever came to help me.
Don't speak, Angel. You need to rest your throat. I'm bathing you since it gives me pleasure and calms me down, and because I want you healthy again. As for where you are, you're in my home, but I've told you this several times and it keeps slipping your mind. Don't worry, though. The doctor says it's normal and you should start recovering soon.
I shake my head, and he tisks at me, so I go still again. Doctor? I don't remember a doctor either. Things are starting to spin, and I let my eyes drift close.
Rest, Val. I've got you. No one is going to hurt you ever again.
And because he says it in that voice, I believe him enough to relax and let myself drift again. Things seem brighter the next time I wake. I open my eyes and stare up at a white ceiling. The fabric under my hands is soft and lush and smells faintly like ginger. It comes back in a rush, except now I remember the man speaking to me had been Adrian. Although I can't remember how I got to his house or in his bed, or I lift the covers gently and stare underneath. In his clothes? I let myself believe, maybe, I really am safe as I drift off again. This time, it's not nightmares clawing their way through my mind. It's a voice, a strong, authoritative voice telling me to rest and come back to him.
6. Adrian. I stare down at the little man who has served my men and me for years, and it's the first time I want to crush his little skull. It's not his fault I'm on edge, nor is it his fault Valentina hasn't woken completely despite the week of round-the-clock care he's provided. Doctor, if you tell me some gibberish about the body and healing one more time, then I'm going to rethink my no guns in the bedroom rule. Tell me what to do in order to help her heal enough to be conscious. She's been in and out of it for a week, and I'm concerned about her memory. She doesn't seem to remember much of what happened to her, me saving her, or even the fact we've met before. To his credit, the doctor doesn't quake under his wire-rimmed glasses, despite my tone eliciting that reaction in greater men than him. Mr. Doubeck, as I explained before, Miss Novak was dehydrated, malnourished, and fighting off infections from her various injuries. These things take time and antibiotics to heal. Once she is stronger, I'll add in a steroid which will assist in her healing process. You must be patient. And her memory, I prompt. What do you say about that? We can get her a CT scan when she can move around on her own. For now, she has no injury to the head that I can tell. What she is going through is likely a reaction to her trauma. I suggest consistency and being gentle with her as she recovers. Can you do that? I swallow the biting reply I queued up. I don't like his challenge to me, but I appreciate the ferocity for which he defends her. Don't let her die, doctor, or others will follow immediately afterward. He turns back toward my bedroom, where she'd been recovering since I brought her here, and marches straight to her bedside. It grates on my nerves as he adjusts her IV, checks her vital signs, and then inspects her injuries. When I found her, most of her body was covered in bruises and blood. He'd beat her and then bound her naked to her own bed. I feared blinking, or else I'd see her like that again. When I'd walked into the room, I saw the dead woman on the floor. Her friend, Rose, I guessed, and assumed the worst had happened. But when I checked her pulse and felt the faint flutter of her heartbeat, I knew she was so much stronger than she looked. If anyone decides to test her strength again, they'll find me answering the challenge instead of her. I only pray we find Sal before I have to go out there and hunt him down myself. When the doctor completes his exam, he turns to face me again. She's mending, Mr. Doubeck. Be patient and be gentle with her. That's what she needs right now. Not trusting myself not to say something cutting, I give him a curt nod and jerk my head toward the door. He doesn't need time to get the hint. The doctor flees, and I approach the bedside to look her over. The bruises I can see above the covers are changing shade, something I knew to be a good thing for my fighting days. The IVs are helping ensure she receives enough nutrition, but I need her to wake up so I can stuff her full of her favorite foods and put some curves on her too lean frame. The door opens as I am about to get some water to give her another sponge bath. Kai enters, his frustration evident by the fact he'd taken his jacket off and his tie hangs loose around his neck. What is it? He scowls as he glances over my shoulder at Valentina. I move into his line of sight so he can't look at her. I don't want anyone looking at her while she is weak and unable to defend herself properly. Until then, I'll be here to protect her. The fucker has gone to ground. He hasn't been back to his apartment, hasn't been to the Novak house, and he hasn't been to his usual sleazeball haunts. I don't know where he is, and I'm about to start razing each of the disgusting establishments he manages to the ground to root him out. I shrug. Did you come here for my permission? I said find him, and I don't care how you do it. It's not just the hunt that has him frustrated, then. What else? Her father is still in New York, and he hasn't even made a move to come home. It's like he has no idea his daughter almost died, or that his niece is dead. I wave at where Val lies unconscious. You think he's going to advertise his handiwork to her father? Not if he thinks he can still marry her and get access to her money. The thought makes me want to kill him all over again. Slowly, painfully. I want to inflict every injury he did on her, and then see how long he can stay alive, left, bound to a bed, alone, with no food, water, or medical care. I suspect a lot less time than she did. When Sal surfaces, let me know immediately, especially if you get a hold of him. Keep me updated on the movements of her father and note if he makes any sudden changes, like he knows what happened here. Kai nods. Anything else? I've already turned back to the bed, my attention on the way her chest rises and falls. Keep one of the 5 on the door at all times, and have Andrea go get some clothes for her. She's going to wake up soon, and she'll need something to wear. He doesn't need to say anything. I hear the soft settle of the door against the frame to indicate he left the room. I was going to bathe her, but right now, after talking to the doctor and then Kai, I need to calm down. So I sit in the chair next to her bed and watch her carefully. Each little blip on the machines monitoring her condition signals she's still with me, but it's also a reminder that I could have lost her before I even made her mine. I won't make that mistake again. The second she's well enough, I'll make sure she knows she belongs to me in every way. I don't know how long I sit with her. Long enough that Andrea returns with 2 large white paper bags. She isn't my size, so I went out and got some things that will fit. and things she can wear as her injuries heal. I can't believe I didn't consider she'd need comfortable clothing to wear until she was back to full strength. Once again, I'm reminded why my team is the best. She sets the bags at the end of the bed and does a quick once-over of the equipment and me. Do you need anything else, boss? Want me to sit with her while you get some rest? I'm not leaving her. I'll rest when she's conscious again. Any word? The doctor continues to tell me I must wait. Little does he know, I'm not a very patient man. She snorts. He knows just fine. He's the one who had to stitch up a bullet wound twice when you didn't wait for it to heal before you went back to work. Well, he gets paid well enough. 2 rounds of stitches and nothing. I know she's trying to take my mind off worrying about Valentina, but it's not working. You can go now. Make sure you guys rotate shifts on the door. No one comes in except one of you, me, or the doctor. She gives me a salute and leaves as quietly as she entered. I turn my attention back to Val and shift my chair closer. When she wakes up, I want to be ready to reassure her that she's safe. Every time she's woken since I found her, she's been groggy and barely discernible. And each and every time, I add one more mental tally to what I'm going to take out of Sal's hide and pay back. As of right now, nothing will be left when I'm finished with him. I take her hand in mine. It's bruised across the knuckles from where she fought back. Her nails are jagged and split, but worst of all is the raw skin around her wrists from trying to free herself from her bindings. She never stopped fighting, even as her body began to give out under the strain of captivity. I'm so proud of her. Gently, I smooth my thumb over a pale patch of healthy skin on the back of her hand. The need to touch her is overwhelming, but I won't hurt her, not like he did. Her fingers twitch against the plush duvet, and I lift my hand to make sure she doesn't move and cause me to touch one of her wounds. When her hand curls into a fist, I scan up her arm and into her face. It's drawn tight, like she's having a nightmare, so I ease out of my seat and gently prod her shoulder. Val, wake up, Val. You're dreaming. To my surprise, her eyes fly open, and she lets out a gasp. Then she settles back on the bed and looks at me with full, wide eyes and says, Rose?
7. Valentina. I'm not sure how long it takes me to realize I'm awake. It takes a few blinks to clear my hazy vision and then notice the strange ceiling. Then down to the unfamiliar bedding and my wrists. A figure looms at the side of the bed, and I simply react, clawing out while trying to scramble away. I don't know why, but something inside me needs to hide.
Stop fucking moving,
A deep voice says. It soothes something in me that had raised its hand, prepared to strike. Now, it paces, waiting to see if we're safe. Who? What's going on? I'm still baring my nails at the figure when the light flicks on. I stare at the figure and recognize him. Adrian? He plops on the edge of the bed, grabs my shoulders in his huge hands, and gently eases me back onto the mound of pillows. I let him guide me, since I have no choice.
Who the fuck else would be sitting beside his own damn bed?
He grouses while he adjusts the covers around me again, then checks the line on my IV. I trace the path of it to the back of my hand. Then its words filter through some of the haze. Own? Bed? I clutch the covers and drag them up to my chest. I'm wearing someone's black dress shirt, but still. What's going on? Why am I here? For a moment, I fear he won't answer me since he won't even look at me. Not that I'm eager to put myself under his intense gaze. When he finally does shift those dark eyes to mine, I flinch. Oh yeah, I forgot just how heavy the weight of his regard is.
Tell me what you remember,
he says. It's nothing short of an order. The tiny part of me that wants to rebel against a man giving me orders doesn't stir. I want to please him, the same way I have since I met him. I clear my throat, only now realizing how dry and scratchy it feels. So I whisper, because he's looking at me like he won't wait forever. I came to see you. Rose was covering the house so I could sneak out. I asked you to. It comes back in a flash, me asking him to kill Sal and him making the offer under the condition of, well, me. A hot flush hits my neck and cheeks. I can't believe I stripped naked for him, or worse, that I liked it. He gently tilts my chin up to force our gazes together again.
Ask me to...
Kill my fiancé, I whisper. The very corner of his lips tilts up, and I can't not look at them. It's as if that tiny corner is proof I gave him what he wants, and for some reason, I want more of that tiny smile, more of a smile, period. I want him to look at me like he did at the party that first time we met. I know I shouldn't, not while I'm engaged to Sal, but he was never my choice. I'm still staring at his lips when he asks his next question.
What else do you remember?
Everything in my head feels hazy, like a dream. Not much. We spoke, and I went home, but after that, I can't remember anything until I woke up just now.
Nothing?
Something in his voice worries me. Obviously, I should be able to remember something else than what I've told him. Or why bother questioning me? Why are you asking? What else am I supposed to remember? I scan his face, waiting for a sign of what he's looking for. After years in my house under my father, and then Sal, I've gotten very good at reading people's every twitch. Sometimes it was the only thing between me and Sal cornering me in a hallway and leaving bruises on my skin as punishment for being unable to touch me the way he wants. He stands with his back to me, but I can't help but notice the rigid line of his spine and the hard set of his shoulders. He's angry, and I don't know why. Tell me what I should remember, and I can try. Let me try. Please? I don't know why I'm begging him, but something inside me is telling me he might be my only chance at safety. I can't lose it. His hands clench along his thighs, and I shrink back into the pillows. I know how my father's hands feel on me, and how Sal's hands feel on me. So far, Adrian hasn't hurt me, so I don't know what to brace for or what to expect when he strikes out. When his arm flies out, I clench up, turning my face away to protect it. The sound of glass breaking makes me flinch more, and I huddle into the pillows, trying to use the covers as some kind of meager protection. When everything is quiet, I slowly blink my eyes open and risk a glance toward him. He's standing at the side of the bed, his eyes angry, his mouth set in a grim line. When he speaks, his tone is soft and gentle.
Look at you. Why are you cowering away from me?
I whisper immediately, You're angry.
So?
I just don't want to get hit anymore. I know I sound defeated, and I hate the threat of it in my voice, especially in front of him. He sinks slowly onto the bed, his hips almost against my knees.
I don't fucking hit women, Val. And I would never, ever hurt you.
I assimilate that information. My father never pretended he was a good man. Lord knows Sal prided himself on the way he overpowered and demeaned women. Adrian telling me he won't hurt me makes me want to believe him so badly my chest aches. I don't know you. You're the last person I saw, and now I'm here, in your bed, hooked up to hospital equipment. What am I supposed to think? His eyes go wide.
You think I could have done this to you? You ask me why I'm angry. It's because I found you like this. I'm angry for you, not at you.
Is there a difference when it comes to men's anger? It really doesn't matter. I stretch out and throw back the covers to reveal my bare legs, my yellow and purple bruised bare legs. I can't look at them, so I don't. It's not something I can help right now.
What are you doing?
He reaches out, but then stops so he doesn't touch any of my numerous injuries. I'm assuming, by how upset you are, that Sal isn't dead. He's the only one besides my father who inflicts this much damage on my body. If he's not dead, then I need to go home, or else he'll come searching for me, and the next time he gets his hands on me, things will be worse. He gestures at me in one sweep of his big hand.
Worse than this?
I shrug and focus on shifting my weight to the edge of the bed. But I don't even make it an inch before he's gently curving his hands around my shoulders again and shoving me back into the nest of pillows.
You can't leave yet. You aren't well. And if you try to stand right now, you'll likely pass out and ruin the work my doctor has done to keep you alive. Besides,
he stiffens, his shoulders sinking back.
We made a deal, remember? I hold everyone to the deals they make with me, no exceptions.
His tone is no longer gentle. He's back to the man I met at the party. Command, control, and all the deep dominion men like him cultivate by breathing. I drag the smoky scent of him into my lungs and let it soothe the fear I'd start to let take over. But it's a dream, a fantasy. We made a deal, and here I am, half dead in his bed. Obviously, thinking someone else could save me had been a mistake. Even if Sal doesn't come looking for me, my father will. How will you protect me from him? How can you protect Rose? Oh God, Rose. How am I such a shitty friend that I didn't ask about her first? He tilts his head, the hint of a grin returning.
I have a no guns in the bedroom rule, Angel, but I promise I'm fully capable of keeping you safe. Besides, neither Sal nor your father is at your house. Rest now.
The way he says it is so confident, so full of cockiness. I still want to believe him, despite the bandages, the bruises, and the IV hanging over my head.
You're scared. I told you to rest, Angel. If you don't make an effort, I'll have the doctor sedate you.
It's not a question, so I don't respond, keeping my eyes somewhere around his left shoulder. I'm not surprised when he reaches out and guides my chin to look at him again.
You're scared, but you don't have to be. When I let you leave that night, I was stupid enough to think you'd be safe until I did the job you asked of me. That was my mistake, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. But when I say I can keep you safe, I need you to listen and believe me.
God, I want to. It would be so easy to take his word for it and let him be my shield to the world. I want to believe him so badly that tears slide down my cheeks in frustration. I don't know if I can believe that because I don't know what safe feels like. He slides closer on the bed until his legs brush against mine, like he can't resist touching me, and even though he must, he'll be sure not to hurt me even then. I look at him this time and watch his face as he speaks.
We made a deal, and I have every intention of holding up my end of the bargain, just as you will hold up yours. It's as simple as that. You belong to me in every way, and I promise you.
His voice takes on a deeper tone, a hint of threat under the bass.
No one will be able to get to you with me in the way.
This time, I do believe him, and the relief makes me dizzy, causing my breathing to come out in short pants. I relax into the pillows for the first time since I woke up. He gently reaches out and takes my hand, his fingers brushing a patch of skin that isn't discolored from bruises. I'd forgotten how beautiful he is. Not traditionally beautiful like a model or an athlete, but he's big, so much bigger than me. His shoulders must be at least twice as wide. His hands even dwarf mine in his own. I'd forgotten a lot of things about him and how much I liked all of them. I've never risked this feeling before, or else it might get him killed. I don't think Adrian will be that easy to take down. So what now? I ask. He looks like he's waiting for something, and then it hits me. If I'm here and he's keeping me safe, then I need to hold up my end of our deal. By the way he'd asked me to strip for him at the casino, I assume he wants more than pithy conversation and a mean spades partner. I shove the covers farther away from my legs, and he frowns at them, staring between the plush linens and my bare limbs. When I don't move to climb off the bed, he seems to settle, my hand still tucked into his. Then slowly, as fear and something else skitters up my spine, I raise my knees together and let them fall open. He jerks as if I've struck him.
What the hell are you doing?
My face is burning now, but I can't let that deter me, not when my safety is on the line. You said I have to hold up my end of this deal, so I'm ready to do that. But you'll have to do most of the work because I'm not entirely sure what to do. Well, I understand the logistics, of course, but I've never... I trail off because the look on his face is nothing short of murderous.
8. Adrian. I pull my hand from hers and put the distance of the room between us. The bathroom door is closed. I don't go that far since I still need to be able to see her. Even while she's in no shape to enjoy herself, I'm 3 seconds from taking everything she offers. The fire that's burned in my blood for her since the moment we met rages through me, demanding I make her mine, and I fear I won't be able to hold out long, especially with her baring herself to me, offering everything I want. "Are you okay?" she asks, hesitant and scared all over again because of me. I face her and shake my head, relieved to see she's closed her thighs, leaving only her knees and lower legs bare. My eyes trace down to the bandages around her ankles, and it works as effectively as a bucket of ice water on my system. I go back to the bed, but this time I don't touch her. "I'm fine. There are some things we need to discuss, and things we will do to settle our debt, but not yet." She doesn't even bother not to look relieved. The offer was nothing more than to finish things between us. If she were anyone else, I could appreciate her sheer practicality. I'd never shied away from doing what was necessary, if even distasteful, to take care of business. But she's not anyone else with that hair and those eyes, and her sweet little body I've seen more than I can handle since I saved her life. I focus on her face, ignoring the relief to watch for any other signs. "You believe me when I say we won't go to bed together until you're feeling better?" She shrugs, and I shift up the bed until I can look into her eyes, only inches from her face. "I don't like lies. It's what drew me to you in the first place. As long as you're honest with me, I'll be honest with you. Tell me you understand." She clears her injured throat gently. "I understand," she whispers. I tilt her chin up so I can stare into her big doe eyes, hunting for the conviction I saw at the party that night, at the conviction I saw when she came to me for aid. I have no reason to lie to you. Trust me, I intend to take you to bed, just not right now. This time she nods, and I take her word she believes me. What else can I do? I release her chin and check her bandages. Everything is still in place, and I can breathe a little easier. The IV was placed in there because you needed nutrients. I can take it out now if you'd like. She gives me another nod, this one more urgent. I get up and gather the alcohol swabs and a Band-Aid. I've had so many IVs and given a few myself, so removing hers is nothing. She doesn't even flinch as I clean the tiny puncture wound and place the waterproof bandage over it. "How are you feeling?" I ask, needing something to focus on besides the creamy pink of her inner thighs. "Fine, but I feel kind of gross. I want to take a shower." "I've been giving you sponge baths since I brought you here, but taking a bath would be good. You don't have any open wounds now, and if you soak in some Epsom salt, it will help bring down some of your bruising." I look up to find her smiling at me. No guile, no subterfuge, nothing but pure light. And damn, how I'm going to take it for myself. "How do you know that? About soaking in the salt, I mean." You met me at the casino when we had a fight. You're too young to know that I used to be a fighter. My father thought it would help beef me up." She raises an eyebrow at that, pointedly staring at my shoulders and arms. This was when I was nothing more than a kid. I hadn't hit my growth spurt, nor had I taken up lifting yet. I secure the IV so it doesn't leak and then come around the bed to scoop her up into my arms. She wraps her hands around my neck. The bandages scratch against my skin, but I don't care, not with so much of her body against mine. She weighs nothing as I carry her to the bathroom, and I worry she won't be able to handle me. I'm not giving her up, but I'll have to be gentle, careful with her so I don't hurt her, even more so than I usually try to be with women. I set her gently on the marble surround of the tub and turn on the water. Then I dig out the Epsom salt, pour in a generous amount, and turn to her. Her cheeks are flaming pink, and it hits me that she's embarrassed. I brush her fumbling fingers aside, then quickly unhook the buttons down the shirt and peel it off her shoulders. With equal practicality, despite the hard-on digging against my fly, I gently unwind the gauze from her wrists and ankles to find the skin is still bright pink. Seeing the bruises from the ropes cools the heat in my blood enough for me to focus on her. She stares down at her wrists and gently touches her left one. I can tell she wants to know what happened, but she's not brave enough to ask yet. Until she is, she won't be able to handle it, nor what I'm going to do to Sal when I get my hands on him. I gently lift her again, and she gives a little squeal of surprise. Then I slowly lower her into the water, even as it climbs higher, wetting my sleeves and shirt. Once she's settled in the tub, I release her, and she lets out a long sigh. That feels good. The needy hint in her voice doesn't help my erection. Fucking focus. I grab some of my shampoo from the shower stall on the other end of the bathroom and set it on the marble. I'm going to wash your hair now. She eases forward in the tub and bites her lip as she looks at the bottle. What? You don't like this brand? It's not that. It's just that my hair maintenance is complicated. The curls and all require extra care. I put the bottle down and kneel beside the tub.